So we'll start from the bottom. The reason most people think the way that they do is because of the environment that they've grown up in. Most people, or actually all people, develop their personality traits due to their environment, based on what's in their environment. And whatever is in your environment, whatever the habitual energy is in that environment, by default, it's going to attach to you. By default. So whether it's whether you watch or mimic your parents as you grow up, whether you watch and mimic aunts and uncles, cousins, whoever, you name it, doesn't matter. This is the reason why behaviors develop the way that they do, based on the environment that that one is attached to throughout life, or at least throughout childhood. You know, and I'm speaking of from conception, from the time of conception, because during the time of conception, whoever your parents were at the time of conception, that's who you are initially going to be at birth. And as you grow up, unless you formulate your own ideas and ideals about life as you grow up. But from a DNA position, whoever your parents were at the time of conception, those are the traits, and those are the traits and characteristics that are going to be embedded in your DNA. So this is the reason why we think the way that we do, and because all of our actions are based on decisions that we make, and all of our decisions are based on our emotional feeling, how we feel, and how we feel is based on how we think. So based on the way you think, your thinking will create an emotion, and your emotion will create a decision for you to create an action. And then your action will create a result. And so we have to accept any and all responsibility for anything and everything that happens to us in our life. To us or for us. We are the responsible party. And this is the reason why we think and do what we do. Because it's embedded in us subconsciously. Or habitually, because of the environment that we've been in for a specific amount of time. And over a period of time, you're going to take on the traits of that environment. If you want to motivate yourself, first you have to have a goal. You have to have something that you want to reach for, something that you want to accomplish. I mean, if you want to be motivated, you have to want something. You have to want something. You have to want to attain something. You have to want to have some form of success. And you start with small successes first. You know, the fact that it has been clarified that you want to figure some things out about yourself. That's one of the ultimate cognitions that you can have. That you acknowledge that something needs to change about you. About you. And if this is the case, this is the opportunity for you to make the necessary adjustments. So the relationship can be in harmony. You know, because all that's going to happen is there's going to be adverse feelings, bitterness, spitefulness, you know, all of these negative or adverse feelings, because there's no, because maybe the communication may be lacking. Communicate what you want. Communicate it. I mean, we have two ears and one mouth. Use your mouth to express what you want, and you will be heard. If it's not by someone physically, the energies of the universe will heed your calling. I mean, this is how it works. So if you want to motivate yourself, create something. Want something. What do you want? What do you want in this life? Happiness, joy, a better employment. You want to start your own entrepreneurial endeavors. You want to be a better parent. All of these things can be internalized and actualized for you based on your shift in consciousness. Based on your shift in consciousness. The more you raise your consciousness, you'll be motivated to do anything. Because you'll have a good feeling. The more you feel good, motivation and the quest for success will motivate you. Yeah, the quest for success will motivate you. You have to use your brain and mind to figure out what it is that you want. Once you do this, your body chemistry and your brain chemistry takes on a whole new life. The thing is that we have to be consistent. We have to be consistent with the shift. Be consistent with the shift. Be consistent with the want. And be consistent with your why for wanting it. If you're putting all of your energies into changing yourself for the better, this is one step further towards you being great. And it's okay to stumble and learn things over and read things over again. The brain is very fertile, and think of your brain as a computer. Think of your brain as a computer, just like the cell phone that you look at every day, just like the laptop that you're on every day, or a desktop that you're on every day at work. Think of your brain as the same kind of interface where you inject information into your brain or process information in your brain by way of the mind, and create something that will make you better, or create circumstances in your mind that will make you better. You change your mind and change your way of thinking and change your way of feeling, or change your way of feeling about yourself, and changing the way you feel about life, your life specifically. Once you do this, all circumstances begin to fall into place. Things will start to happen when you least expect it. Why? Because your thinking is right. Your thinking is right. Your feeling is right. You've clarified what you want as opposed to clarifying what you don't want. So, and this applies to any and all endeavors of life. All of us have what's called an emotional guidance system, or what's called our solar plexus. And also what's called your pineal gland. These are the components within you that see things before your two physical eyes do. It's your internal clairvoyant, your internal, it's your internal psychic, your internal premonition system. Your pineal gland and your solar plexus, which are a bundle of, which is a matrix of nerves in your gut. When you get the gut feeling, when you get butterflies in the stomach, those are, that is a heightened chemistry in your solar plexus. This is another form of anxiety. It's another form of anxiety, but it's the anxiety that you can use to your advantage. Not the anxiety that's gonna uh, help to short circuit your brain neurology. So all of us can definitely be better when we have the want to be better. When you have the want to be better, things will start to happen that will correspond with that feeling. So you can bring it to fruition. Yeah, I mean, life can be as easy or simplistic or as difficult as you choose for it to be. Life can be as simplistic or as difficult as you want it to be. You can be ill for a lifetime. You can have diabetes for the rest of your life. You can have anxiety and depression, and hope that one of these antipsychotic pills will work one day. All of these things that your body has no earthly clue about any of these things, because your body knows nothing about that. Your body only knows the divine order of life. That's it. Everything else about the body you have consciously trained it to do by way of your decisions of possibly allowing a pharmacy industry to label your emotions, which therefore they have to create a prescription, and therefore the susceptibility for legal drug addiction is open like a floodgate. So these are the things that we want to definitely consider moving forward. All of us have a general guidance system, and or emotional guidance system. Our emotional guidance system, and it tells you whether to go up, down, left, right. It's the gut feeling. It's that invisible voice that belongs to you, that many of us don't listen to. When we have signals of pain and other sensations, we put them on the back burner until they get worse and worse and worse. And then we want to pray for a miracle that this synthetic pill will work at some point of our, having these pills administered to us at such a frequent level. And then, God forbid, if the results aren't as effective as we've been told that they were going to be. So here now we have a higher dosage of an antipsychotic drug or an antidepressant drug that will, if not monitored, it will have adverse effects on the psyche. It will. Not maybe, not might be, it will. Because all synthetic pills changes your blood chemistry and it changes your brain chemistry. All synthetic pills alter your physiology in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And people can dispute it, and doctors may try to dispute it or refute it, or the human body is so magical that believing that a synthetic pill is the answer, that's an insult to the human physiology. That's an insult to the human body that all of us were given. It's an insult for us to allow a pharmacy industry to take control over our emotions so much that we're willing to be the processionary caterpillar following the follower. Following the follower. If the commercial tells you to ask your doctor for this drug, that's what people are going to do. Obviously, that's what's been the case for the last 15 years now. Actually, longer than that, for the last 2 decades plus. The pharmacy industrial complex has been allowed to advertise legal pharmacy prescription drugs to the general public, because the commercial takes the place of a doctor's appointment. The advertisement takes place of the doctor visit, because now a patient will go directly to the doctor and say, hey, I want this pill because I saw it on the commercial. Not even really giving consideration to all the side effects. I don't really call side effects. I call them the initial effects. Because synthetic medications change your physiology. That is the initial effect. It's not a side effect. It's not an after effect like an earthquake. No, the pill is the earthquake. And the longer you take them, you will potentially have more aftershocks. So this is what synthetic medication does, no matter what it is. Whatever medications, whether it's Cymbalta or Seroquel, we're not depressed because we have a Seroquel deficiency. But again, this is the notion that we've been conditioned for, that the magic pill is the end all for any and all circumstances, any and all situations, any and all traumatic events. That a pill is the only answer. A pill is the only answer for happiness creation or feeling better about you. We've been conditioned to believe that a pill will do this. A pill. There's a documentary that I recommend all of you to view at some point. It's called The Marketing of Madness. The Marketing of Madness. It's a wonderful documentary from probably 10 years ago now. But it goes through all of the insider inner workings of how the pharmacy industry influences the general public to believe that only synthetic medications are practical for emotional traumas or emotional or post-traumatic stresses. That a pill is the only answer, not a shift in perception. No, not a shift in perception. No, a pill. A pill. That's an insult. That's an insult to the human brain. That's an insult to the human brain. I mean, you think Albert Einstein became this great brain genius by ingesting prescription after prescription of Cymbalta and Lexapro? No. Some of the greatest minds that ever lived never had to take a synthetic medication to have that great mind. That's an insult. That's an insult. Diabetes, that's an insult to the human body. Cancer, that's an insult to the human body. The human body that all of us were given at birth. Back in the 50s, they told us that smoking cigarettes was healthy. In the 50s, some of you may remember, former President Ronald Reagan used to do commercials advertising how great cigarettes were. And they are doctor recommended. This was the advertising influence. That cigarettes and tobacco were good for you. This is what we were told. Decade after decade after decade after decade, that cigarettes were healthy for you. But we see hundreds of thousands of people die every year from complications or or developments or illness developments created by way of inhalation of nicotine byproducts, emphysema and all these things, bronchitis, asthma, COPD. I mean, come on. When you know how your body functions, or just learn some basics on what the body needs to function at an optimal level. I mean, insomnia, COPD. I mean, altering our circadian rhythms by sleeping, sleeping late, not getting a sufficient amount of sleep to energize the body. All of these things contribute to illness. All of it. Be conscious of what you think. Be conscious of how you feel. Be aware of how you think. Be aware of how you feel. All of us have the conscious awareness to change our thoughts. I can go over the 4 steps of learning and all these things, which I may do on another audio. But just know that your brain is wide open for everything that is truth for you to have an abundant life. Whatever that means to you. Whatever that means to you. All of us have the wherewithal. We don't need pills. We don't need serums to make our brains function better. All we need is a shift in perception and reframing our life structure, or reconstructing the life journey so it can serve you. So it can serve you.